Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Side series, where I'll be going over past events that I have recorded from live events that I've actually been to. So yesterday we saw my round 1 match from the past weekend's Bristol Premier Challenge event, and today we'll be going into round 2. So I didn't mention in yesterday's episode, but the team I took to the PC over the weekend was the team that I am actually in fact running on my channel at the moment, with the Ninetales, Alolan Ninetales, Talonflame, Kartana, Alolan Marowak, Garchomp and Milotic. So if you haven't seen those episodes, do go and check them out. There's some fun matches there and some quirky little things that we'll be doing this week with the team as well. So you can check them out, subscribe to the channel, and you'll get the daily uplinks for those. But now on to the second round of the Premier Challenge. So my opponent for my round 2 match was the ever so gracious Steve Edgson, who is a great guy. He's a very tough opponent, so I knew going into this match it wasn't going to be easy at all. He was running a team of Oranguru, Hariyama, Alolan Marowak, Milotic, Kartana and Alolan Ninetales, which I think was a very similar, if not a carbon copy of the same team Ben Kiriakou ran at the London International events, finishing top 4. So this was not going to be easy at all. Now going into this match, I definitely knew that Steve was going to try and set up the Trick Room, so I had to do everything in my possible power that I could do to prevent him getting the Trick Room set up. And one of the issues with this is his Oranguru, I wasn't sure if it had the Mental Herb on it or not. So I wanted to try and rely on my Ninetales to roar it out. Now Steve didn't know I had roar on my Ninetales going into game 1, so I definitely knew that this was something I could take advantage of. But the problem is, my taunt user was Talonflame, and obviously he has Hariyama in the team, and that fake out support with the Trick Room Pokemon is definitely very problematic for my team and something I'd have to address going forward. So to get around this, I led my Ninetales and Talonflame to hopefully prevent a Trick Room. Obviously preventing the Trick Room would set me up with a way better game plan going into the match. But without further ado, let's stop procrastinating so much and get into it, and then we'll show you guys what happened. So this is game 1 of round 2 versus Steve. So I know we saw from the video replay what he led with, but we'll just go play by play. I lead with my Ninetales and Talonflame, and Steve is going to lead off with his Oranguru and Hariyama. Obviously the Oranguru threatening the Trick Room straight away, and that Hariyama is threatening with the Fake Out. So I pretty much double up into the Oranguru with Taunt and Roar in hope of stopping the Trick Room in some sort of way. You can only Fake Out one of my Pokemon, so he Fake Outs the Talonflame so I can't get the Taunt off. But I do get the Roar off and prevent the Trick Room that turn. So I'm not in a too bad situation here. He does bring the Marowak in, which is threatening my Ninetales, but I do have the Sash still, but I am threatening the Hariyama with my Talonflame at this point. So everything takes a round of hail chip damage, and we'll see what happens in turn 2. So I withdraw my Ninetales at this point and bring in my own Marowak, potentially taking any fighting attack attacks that are coming onto it and any fire type attacks from the Marowak. And I go for the Supersonic Sky Strike, if I can get my words out, onto the Hariyama and hopefully pick up the KO. Once the Hariyama's out the way, he's got no more Fake Out support for that Trick Room, so that puts me in a bit of a better position going into the rest of the match. And also it does threaten my Ninetales, so taking it out stops any threat onto my Ninetales from fighting attacks, and it obviously prevents any knockoffs from them as well, from the Hariyama as well. The Marowak does go for the Shadow Bone onto my Talonflame, picking up the KO. So that was like 1 for 1, but I'm quite happy with that trade. Now here I bring in my Ninetales again, because I think I've got the Cortana in the back, and I don't want to bring it in against that Marowak. At this point, I do know that my Marowak will outspeed his Marowak because there's a Trick Room on, so I just go straight for the Shadow Bone and pick up the KO. They could have protected there, but I think I potentially go for a roll again onto the Oranguru just to make sure that I potentially stop any Trick Room being set up, because even at this point of the game he gets a Trick Room set up. Depending on what he's got in the back to bring in, he could still sweep through my team. So unfortunately he has the Milotic, which really isn't going to be taking advantage of that Trick Room at this point, but it is threatening my Marowak, so I do need to keep that in mind. But I also know that I do have my Cortana in the back to come in and deal with that. So my priority at the minute is the Oranguru. So his Oranguru protects on this turn. My Ninetales goes for the Freeze Dry onto the Milotic to pick up some damage onto it, and I take a Scald from his Milotic. Mark does just barely survive and goes for a Shadow Bone onto Milotic. So I actually read into that protect from the Oranguru, contradicting what I originally said, and target down the Milotic, and just to get as much damage on it as possible. So we're going to take another round of hail damage on everything, but I'm not in a bad position at all here. My Ninetales still has its Sash intact, and I am not in too bad a position. So I go for another Freeze Dry on the Milotic, and I just missed the KO there. The Milotic goes for the kick for the Scald onto the Ninetales, breaking the potential Sash, burning it in the process, and I go for a Shadow Bone to pick up the KO onto the Milotic. And we'll see what the Oranguru does here. And it's going for the Shattered Psyche, which you don't see very often, but it is a very good... I think the Z move on Oranguru is really good. After speaking to Ben afterwards about it, it does make a lot of sense. Obviously, Oranguru isn't taking as much damage from opposing knockoffs coming onto it, and it's still doing a very good amount of damage in situations where you can get it off. So my Ninetales goes down there, but I do have my Cortana to bring in. The hail stops, so we're not going to be taking any more residual damage, and I'm sitting in not too bad a position here, because at that Oranguru, I'd expect it probably only has the Psychic attack, which Assault Vest Cortana is going to be able to take all day. So the Oranguru just protects here, and I double into it with a Flare Blitz and a Leaf Blade from my Cortana, and I think I'll just do this again, but Steve actually forfeits and I end up winning game 1. So game plan for game 1 worked out really well. Let's go into game 2 and see the outcome of this one. I hope this setup as well, guys, with me just kind of going into the battle videos and playing them and then commentating over the top is alright. If you prefer more where I pause it through and talk through turns, leave a comment in the section below, and I'll maybe look at doing it a bit differently. So anyway, I'm going to lead off with my Ninetales and my Talonflame again, and Steve changes things up and leads with his Ninetales and Hariyama. So obviously I'm still threatened from the fake out, and we're going to get that onto the Talonflame, breaking that Gale's Wing ability. So that's a great move from Steve's side. I do get the Blizzard off with my Ninetales, breaking the Sash, potential Sash on the opposing Ninetales, and doing a little bit of chip damage to the Hariyama there. And Steve's Ninetales is actually going to just Blizzard back, doing a good chunk to my Talonflame and breaking the Sash on my Ninetales. But I am threatening both of his Pokemon here with my Talonflame. So Steve here, in preparation of that incoming Supersonic Sky Strike, switches out his Hariyama to his Milotic. And I do indeed go for the Supersonic Sky Strike, and I think I do target into the Hariyama here. So we'll see. It should do a good amount of damage to the Milotic. This animation is brilliant. It's probably my favourite Z move animation. So we're going to see this Supersonic Sky Strike go into the Milotic. It does a good chunk of damage, but activates the Citrus Berry, boosting its health back up. Steven's Ninetales goes for another Blizzard, taking out my Talonflame. The critical hit didn't really matter at all there, and I'm just going to return back with a Blizzard of my own. just chipping away at both of his Pokemon here. So now you take a round of hail damage onto the Milotic, and I'll bring in my Kartana. So again, I am threatening both Steve's Pokemon here with my Kartana, threatening the KO on both things. I go for the Freeze Dry onto the Milotic with my Ninetales. Don't unfortunately pick up the KO, but I do win the speed tie against his Ninetales and get the Smart Strike off, which is pretty huge, to be honest. I win both speed ties there, so there's a three-way speed tie between his Ninetales, my Ninetales, and the Kartana, all base 109 Pokemon. So I did get really fortunate there. And he just goes for a Scald onto my Ninetales, and I fortunately avoid the burn there. So his Milotic is, I think, one more round of hail damage will pick up the KO on that. So Steve now brings in his Hariyama, which again is threatening the Fake Out and Fighting type attack damage onto both my Pokemon here. I just go for the Blizzard with the Ninetales. Get as much damage as I can onto the Hariyama and a Leaf Blade into it as well. Because remember, you can only pick up the KO on one of my Pokemon, and I have just had the Beast Boost from my Kartana. So that was enough with the Blizzard to actually pick up the KO on the Hariyama. And now we've got that three-way speed tie again with his Kartana, but my Kartana isn't in the worst position. It's not in Sacred Sword KO range, but my Ninetales obviously is. So if I can get a Blizzard off here, I should be able to pick up and clear the field. I fortunately win the speed tie against his Kartana with mine, picking up the KO on his Kartana, getting another Beast Boost, overpowered Kartana, and I will just pick up the KO onto his Milotic and take game 2 with Blizzard. So that is the end of round 2. Steve, I think after realizing that I had the roll there, opted not to bring the Trick Room and try a different method of approaching that game. So we're off to not a bad start on the tournament at all. We're 2-0 at the minute, going into round 3. So I hope you've enjoyed this little snippet episode of my Premier Challenge series so far. If you like the video, if you've got any comments, just leave them in the comment section below. Any feedback is much greatly appreciated. And if you've liked the episode, leave a like. That is always appreciated. Obviously, subscribe to the channel. You'll get all the daily uploads from my School of Hard Knocks, any tutorial stuff that I'm doing, and obviously these Premier Challenge things. So, guys, until tomorrow, I will see you later. Have a really nice night, and we'll have round 3 tomorrow, and that is against... Let me think who it might be against. No, it's either against... No, it is against Ben Kiriakou. So, that is going to be a great episode tomorrow. So, until then, guys, take care, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.